Welcome to Global Fire Live Television Studio. One message, every language, for every heart. Together, we're sharing the hope of the gospel across cultures, across borders, to millions worldwide. Join us as we bring light to the world, one language at a time. Global Fire Live TV. The gospel for every nation.
Hi, and welcome to another session with Global Fire Television Network. Today, as we begin our time in the Word of God, I want to draw our attention to two words. The first word that I want for us to remember is the word cistern. The second word is the word spring. Now, these two words are used interchangeably in some situations, but there are similarities, but there are lots of distinct differences between a cistern and a spring. Now, a spring and a cistern, they are both used in association with water. You've heard of springs of water, you've heard of water springs, you've seen bottles of spring water bottled, and they sell at a premium price. You've also heard of the word cistern, storage places for water. Now, both of these are associated with water, but there are differences. The key difference is that a spring is able to release water from a source. So if you see a well, for example, or if you observe or if you engage in drawing water from a well, you know that as you draw water from that well, that there is a spring that supplies that well with water, with fresh water. A cistern, on the other hand, is a device or a container where water has to be brought in from the outside and the container or the cistern has to be filled. And the cistern has no ability to generate or to draw water on its own. Water has to come from the outside or from some external source. It has to be carried, it has to be brought by way of a pipe, it has to be piped in. Different approaches or techniques have to be used to fill the cistern. And once the cistern is empty, you have to fill it up again. A spring, on the other hand, keeps giving water, natural water that flows freely because the source is there and it supplies, it flows through the spring. Now, the prophet Jeremiah, in Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 13, he is employing these two metaphors or images to communicate the message of God. And in Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 13, God is speaking through the prophet Jeremiah, and he's saying, my people, I'm reading the verse to you, you can see it at the back of the screen. My people have committed two sins. What's the first one? They have forsaken me, the spring of living water. So there you go, the first word, spring. God is likening himself to a spring of living water. And God is saying, my people have forsaken me. They have rejected me. And who am I? God says, I am the spring of living water. Now, not only have they rejected me, they have gone after another practice. And what have they done? They have dug their own cisterns. And mind you, God says, these are broken cisterns that cannot hold water. So you will see the people of God, God is reminding them through the prophet Jeremiah, rejected the source of water, and then they went seeking after a mere container of water, a receptacle of water, and that too, God says, was broken, was cracked. So imagine in your home, you had access to an unending supply of fresh spring water. You had to go to it, access it, and you would have fresh, clean water. But on the other hand, in a corner of your house, you have a cistern, maybe a plastic container, maybe a ceramic container, maybe some other clay container. and you have to fill water into that cistern, and that's where you draw your water from. And you know that when the cistern runs low or runs dry, then you got to go back to the source and fill it up using a bucket, using a pail, using a pipe, whatever the case may be. Now imagine in your house, this cistern in a corner is also cracked, and you see water leaking slowly, but you know water is not going to be held there for a long time. And so you go after that, and that has become your focus. Whereas you have in your house a source of living water, a source of natural spring water. And if somebody came and looked at your house, they would ask this question: why are you rejecting the source, and why are you going after the cistern? It defies every brand and every sense of logic as to why you would do that. And God is employing these two images in this verse to remind His people this is exactly what you are doing. God says, I am there for you. I have done and I have performed miraculous deeds in your life in the past. I brought you out of Egypt. I formed you and fashioned you into a nation, and now I brought you into the land of promise, and I have been your source right through. But you have rejected me, and instead you have gone after other cisterns. They're not even sources, they're just receptacles, they're broken. And God was saying, you have forsaken me and you have gone after other idols. Now, what's the lesson for us today? Even today, this lesson applies to all of us as we live, as we get through life on this earth. As we look around, we see ample evidence that this universe, this world, was put in place by someone who is the master designer. The Apostle Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 1. He says, there is evidence of the Creator as I look around and observe creation. And so God is there. God has formed and fashioned this universe, and God has formed and fashioned each one of us. The Word of God reminds us that each one of us is fearfully and wonderfully made. But what do? We reject these understandings of God. We abandon God, and we seek after other mere broken cisterns. The mere broken cisterns in our lives could be anything that we are comfortable with. It might be a relationship, it might be a practice, it might be a person, and slowly, without our even knowing, these experiences, these practices have become our idols. Now, sometimes we think that an idol has to be an object that has been formed or fashioned out of stone or clay. That need not be the case. An idol is anything or anyone or any practice or any experience that takes the place of God. We use the word worship when we talk about God, when we talk about our growing in our relationship with God, we talk about worship. Worship comes from the word worthship. In other words, God is worthy of the place that we give Him. It also follows that if there is anyone else or any other practice or any experience who we consider to be more worthy than God Himself, then that becomes our idol. We may not have a stone idol standing in the corner of our house or in a prominent place in our house, but if we consider someone or some experience to be the most worthy experience of our lives, overtaking or surpassing the place that we ought to give God, that has become our idol. Now, in this day and age, we do not reject God. Why? Because we know that would be blasphemous to reject God. But we have, without sometimes our even knowing it, without our being conscious of it, we have reduced God. We have reduced Him to the point of being someone whom we are comfortable with, someone we go to when it is convenient, and someone whose help we seek when we are in dire straits only. Now, when we drive, we use the services of GPS. And we cannot drive if we are in unknown territory. If we are going into a new area, we definitely rely on the help of a GPS. Now, when it's an area that we know, if it's our neighborhood, then we don't need the GPS because we know our whereabouts. But when we are heading into new territory, we rely heavily on our GPS systems. And sometimes we treat God like that. In the familiar, with the familiar, we do not need God because we know it ourselves. But when we are caught in a situation, when the situation or the circumstance is outside our control, it is overwhelming, then we go to God and we start using the same way that we would use our GPS. We say, God, this is where I need to go. This is what I want as an outcome. Now I trust you to take me to that destination, take me to that outcome, smoothing out all the uneven areas and get me there quickly. And we use God as a GPS each time we are caught in a difficult situation, just like we tell our GPS, this is where I want to go, and we are trusting the GPS to find us the smoothest ride, the smoothest ride without any events to get us there as quickly as we can. And once we reach our destination, we don't worry about the GPS too much. We just get on with life because life has to go on. And sometimes we use God just like that. When we need help, when we are caught in a difficult situation, we come to God and we say, God, I really need your help at this time. You've got to come through for me. Get me to my destination. Provide the outcome that I need. And once that outcome has been reached, then we revert back to our good old ways and we forget about God. So we do not reduce God, but we have rejected God to someone we go to only when we are in times of need. And that is the message that Jeremiah, speaking under divine inspiration, is giving God's children, where God says, I am there for them. I am available for them at all times. The Word of God says, call unto me and I will be there to help you. And God says, I'm the living stream. I am available for you. I've done things for you in the past. You see that I have a faithful track record of providing for you. So don't be discouraged. Don't run after broken cisterns. And so I want to encourage each one of us today. No matter what you're facing, don't reject God. No matter what you're going through, remember, God is your source. He is the spring of living water. And He is the source that we can go to. So don't abandon God. Don't reject the counsel of God. Don't run after other broken cisterns that can only provide water that has been brought in. And if it's a broken cistern, it will not be able to hold water. It will not be able to give you good advice for long. And so my invitation to you today is to turn to God, to return to God and seek His counsel.